Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across Pakistan and the globe. And we take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy. Every time we've got some very interesting guests with us. This time as well, we've got Mr. Faisal Rauf. He is the head of digital corporate and SMME at Bank Alfalah Limited. So here's someone that has a lot of years of experience in digital banking, in fintech, in branchless banking. So there's a lot that we can learn from Mr. Faisal Rauf. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anza. Glad to be here.
We're so glad that you're with us and you've taken out time on a Friday evening. Faisal Rauf Sahab, what about your journey so far? So, where did you start school? Where did you grow up? What courses have you studied? How did you end up at this corporate position that you're at right now?
Oh, okay. So, starting from school, I was basically educated in Karachi, and then I did my higher education in the UK, in Cardiff and in Durham. From there, then I moved back to Pakistan, and I was basically in corporate and investment banking. So I spent a couple of years, my first job being with Allied Bank in investment banking. Then I moved to Standard Chartered for about over 4.5 years. Again, I was in on the wholesale banking side. Then I moved overseas for about 3 odd years, where I was also with the HSBC, once again in corporate banking. And then I moved to Telenor or Easy Pesa, moving from corporate banking into the branchless side or the fintech side. Reason being that this was an area which was very up and coming, not only globally but in Pakistan as well. And given that the routine, mundane life that we used to have as a corporate banker, I just wanted to basically move away from it and venture into something new. So I worked for about 3 years in product and then eventually in sales on the Easy Pesa side before moving to Alfalah about 2.5 years ago here in Lahore. And over here, it was basically setting up a number of verticals. One included the branchless side, which we did not have. So we basically set up a whole agent network, which we're still currently expanding. Then obviously we had our corporate portfolio where we're working with customers on digital based products, and then I'm also managing the whole government side or the G2P side, where we are one of
Right.
the banks who work with SARS. We have UBI, so we're providing them with digital solutions. And that's basically what I'm currently doing, and we're hopefully now looking to further expand into new areas as the digital banking space in the country increases.
That's amazing. And you definitely are one of the pioneers in digital banking and fintech in Pakistan because you've literally seen a whole shift or evolution in the industry from conventional corporate banking then to branchless banking. So that's, quite a bit of experience. What I wanted to, in particular, ask you, sir, was what we all know what digital corporate is. What does SMME stand for?
So corporate are the large corporates which are basically listed and non-listing companies, and the SME are the small and medium enterprises, because this is one segment
Right.
which is basically your bread and butter of the economy, and a lot of work being done over here is on the cash side. So it's helping those customers moving towards the digital side. One of our major products that we do work with them is payroll, because here we have a large number of, let's say, factories, for example, who have a large amount or a very big base of labor, and so we basically coming up with solutions to digitize the whole payroll process. Then we working with them, for example, on online services for QR purposes. So it's also basically getting them uh, online, especially those companies which are also working on the retail side. So we basically come up with a whole range of products that cater to the various segments of a company.
Right. So when you talk about the digital banking side of things or branchless banking, we know that in a polarized market like Pakistan, a lot of people still, especially even businesses, I don't just mean consumers, but even businesses are a little hesitant because they have certain security concerns. For example, they'd much rather sign a check than go transfer funds online. And have you observed this in your experience, and how can this narrative be tackled?
Uh, yeah, you're right. And previously that was the case, but now very recently we've seen a shift coming towards the digital side, and there are basically a number of reasons for that. I think one driver was obviously COVID, where the fear of basically interacting with people or going into bank branches or even just casually socializing as well, that obviously did go down. This obviously prompted a lot of companies who were basically in the daily rut of the routine, which has been going on since decades. They were forced to start thinking on how to basically move away because it was obviously hurting their business as well. So I think COVID, yes, has had an impact, and that's also not only in Pakistan, but we also see globally as well. That's caused a shift, and it is continuing to basically do so. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Once obviously the threat of COVID went down a bit, since last year, companies are still willing now to continue services and to explore new products as well, because when they were forced into it, they realized the benefits, the ease of it. So that basically helped. So that's basically one area. In terms of the security side as well, I mean, if you're doing things manually, I think there's more of a security risk. So if you're dealing in cash, post 5 p.m. and on weekends, you have a
Yeah.
large amount of
Sure.
cash which has to be dealt with. So that's basically kept in vaults and lockers. So there's chances of theft. There's also chances of of manipulation.
Mm.
Coming onto the digital side, companies have more control. They have a 24/7 visibility of things, and as for example, in Alfalah, we are also one of the only banks which have CDMs which are running 24/7, where cash can be deposited to other banks as well. So
Okay,
you don't
lovely.
necessarily need to have an account here with us, and yet after 5 p.m. you can still do your banking. So it's basically these kind of products that has really helped companies evolve to further strengthen their processes and their internal systems as well. So we're seeing a lot of
Right.
demand, and we're seeing a lot of interest as well.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. However, one of the things that digital banking does bring, and this is something that, a recent development has been that FDR has announced, keeping a check on the money trail for freelancers, the freelancing community in Pakistan. Um, because a lot of money goes, a lot of the money trail is untapped because, we don't have proper payment gateways. Uh, do you think that the fact that there is branchless banking now, and if it becomes more common, we will also have a lot of better tax collection?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, see, the reason was the of why branchless banking exists is because we are a very large country with a huge population, and given that we have a large chunk of that population in the rural areas, so obviously the banking or the branch network was not sufficient enough to cater to those masses. This is where the branchless banking policies came in, and the idea was is that you get more people into the financial system, and obviously it helps because we have an economy which is still cash driven. So the idea is basically to digitize the economy, to digitize supply chains, and to get that whole flow of money within the banking network. Obviously, when that happens, you have a more formal documented economy. You also have more people, in the tax net. So overall,
Yeah,
it generally helps the country in general, and that's the whole idea, which is why we see the government as well as the central bank really working tirelessly to come up and to further streamline their policies to get and to further give more incentives for people to start using these channels. And
absolutely.
we see it firsthand. We're seeing that customers are indeed moving. They see the benefits,
Mhm.
and then they then have discussions with us on how to further expand. So, there's the other side of it where companies also save costs, because if you're dealing in cash, there's cost of insurance, there's cost of transportation, then there's that element of potential theft, and then all the record keeping and filing. So coming onto the digital side, it basically helps all the parties involved, being it on the tax side, for the economy and the companies themselves.
Right. Absolutely. And now, more than ever, I would like to ask you, like, with the advent of technology, and like you rightly pointed out, that COVID has fast-paced a lot of processes, especially digital transformation and e-payments. There's whenever you're traveling to the West, I often see that now you don't even need a credit card or pay card. All you need is, like, even if you're buying fast food, all you have to do is like swipe a QR code on your phone. How far away are we in Pakistan? How many years down the line do you think we will have such payment methods incorporated for the general public, for the masses? Because I know some banks have started offering it. I don't know if Alfalah is doing it, but I definitely know some banks are definitely doing QR payments. How far away are we generally from?
Yeah, so we're doing QR payments as well, and yes, you are correct. I
Mhm.
think if we look internationally, QR acceptance, is still is pretty large. And yes, obviously, I mean, everyone has access to a smartphone. Everyone has their banking apps. Which are basically working
Yeah.
with QR as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, I think it's going to take a few more years before we really start to see a major uptake. Uh, um, Currently, we see a lot of merchants who are now moving towards the QR side, but I think the other side on it as well is the consumer side of how comfortable they are. I think it's pretty much like a credit card. So back in the 90s when credit cards were aware of the security and there were a lot of fear factors. I think given that we have a very large young population who are very tech savvy, we feel that QR is indeed one of the pillars in driving digitization. And I think we'll slowly start seeing a shift um, coming more towards on the QR side or towards these contactless payment side.
Right. Absolutely. A little about your own personal journey, Faisal Saab. They say that in life one learns a lot from failures. So, alongside your, mashallah, successful decorative career, how many failures have you witnessed and what have they taught you?
Well, there've been quite a number of failures. Obviously, that's a pretty broad definition, but yes, there have been. And I think that basically has taught us a lot. I mean, see, if we look at what we're doing over here, so we're doing a lot of number of things, and we're not scared of failing, because obviously, until we don't try, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you very well there. But
My
right.
apologies. So yes, so I'm not, and we're not afraid of failure. I think failure is something that's taken very positively, because you learn a lot, and what it also does, that if you're in the space as we are on the digital side and on the fintech side, obviously there are a number of risks that are involved in terms of products. Um, the whole idea is that we develop yes, some products don't take off that well, which is fine. But then we learn from it, and then we learn of why it did not work. Was there any flaw with the product, or was it a flaw with the journey? Was it a flaw with the UI UX? So there are a number of factors over there. So we and myself as well, we take failure in a very positive spirit, because it helps us to learn, and to basically
There seems to be, yeah, there seem to be an error with your connection.
hello.
But unfortunately, we're running a little low on time. So I wanted to ask you towards the end, how has being a part of CXO Global affected your personal and professional life?
Oh, very well. I think being connected with the CXO members has been tremendous. I mean, we've learned a lot of things. We have a very large, a large base of members coming from different backgrounds, and even on the tech side, there are quite a number of different personalities doing different kind of work. So it helps to be connected with them. We learn from each other. We discuss products and the different kinds of innovations that are going on. So that's been done on a regular basis, and basically what it does is it gives you very different perspectives as well. So indeed, it's been a very tremendous journey, and I also encourage other people to basically work with CXO as well, because it gives us a very broad view of not only how things are running in Pakistan but globally as well.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today and for all that first-hand information. We look forward to seeing you in future discussions as well. And we would love to hear more about what new innovations are coming alongside your journey. Uh, like Mr. Faisal Rauf pointed out, ladies and gentlemen, CxO Global Forum is all about sharing knowledge and ideas and learning about what new innovation is happening. So we hope to see you next time with yet another special guest. For now, we need to bid farewell to Mr. Faisal Rausa. For those of you who want to follow him, you can follow him on LinkedIn, and do visit the website cxoforum.global to find out more information about us. Do share your feedback and comments. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.